So the topic of today is about yogic way, how to alleviate personal suffering. So please remember, personal suffering. The suffering is one thing, but personal suffering is another thing. So the topic today is about personal suffering. The idea is when you suffer about something, you think it is your own problem, okay? And you feel pain in your own body, in your own mind, and the suffering is personal. So all suffering, in fact, is personal. Yeah, all suffering is personal. What that means? That means that you think that it happened to you. You think that the pain here is specific to you, and it happened to you. And then you give the explanation. It's happened to me because this happened and that happened, and this person did that and this person did that. And that's why I'm suffering. Okay? So very much when you suffer, you identify with the cause, the reason, the perceived reason why you suffer. Okay? And you can tell that you suffer because of your personal point of view, your personal specific point of view, yeah, experiencing something, and then the suffering can come in form of frustration, in form of anger, in form of pain, physical or mental pain, in form of fear, in form of hurt, in form of feeling that you are being disappointed, and so you make it a personal story. Okay, so all suffering is personal. So now, how do you do to get out of the personal suffering? Okay? You can see already the answer in the question. You get out of the personal suffering by getting out of the ego or the personal point of view that create the suffering. Okay, so suffering has many reasons, and we can talk about this. Yeah, but the more that you identify with the suffering as it is something personal happening to you, the more the problem is serious. Yeah, and you will suffer uh, seriously. Okay, so the idea is the more that you are able to detach or to get out of the identification uh, with your particular situation that create that personal suffering, then it's suffering, but it's not so bad. Okay, let's say somebody take my pen. Yeah, I want to write every time. Okay, so I have a personal suffering long time. My personal suffering once upon a time is that every time I want to write something, there's no pen. There's no pen because the pen somehow they walk away. So I look around all the time looking for pen. And then I blame people. So why they take my pen? My pen is on my desk. I need the pen. And why they take my pen? Yeah, but I don't know who take my pen. Why the pen is walking away. So many times the situation is like that. I feel that that this this losing pen or not having pen to write, yeah, become a personal issue of myself. Yeah, so I have to solve the problem. Okay, so I solve the problem by understanding why pen is walking away, because Everyone is writing something, want something. Everyone is needing. Um, everyone is needing pen, right? So they don't think twice. When they see the pen there, they grab the pen, and then they have the intention to return, but they forget. So then the pen disappear. Yeah. So I expect the pen to be there for me, but the pen is not there. So yeah, so then I have to come up with some philosophy. Yeah. The philosophy is everyone, they need something, they would grasp it. They need to write, so they grab the pen. And then I'm not going to fight each person. I'm not going to tie the pen to myself. Yeah, so the pen doesn't walk away. Some people do that. They tie the pen into their wrist. I'm not going to do that. So I had to solve the problem this differently. And the way how I solve the problem, I always have a dozen pen. So I accept the fact that pen will be disappearing for whatever reason. Who's taking it? I don't care. But the pen will be disappearing, and I will be frustrated. So I'm going to make sure that I don't miss pen. So I always have a dozen pen. Swami Adi, he look at my desk all the time. Too many pen. All the time around. When I travel, I have a dozen pen, 20 pens with me. If you pull out my purse, you have 20 pen all the time, because I prevent the problem of frustration that come from the disappearance of pen. You see that? So the point is, the more that you understand the phenomena, why you are suffering, and then you develop the capacity how to deal with it, the more you'll be free from pain. Okay? Free from suffering from pain. So it takes some work. Okay? But if you stay in the position that I should be happy, I should not suffer, and when suffering come, yeah, because of frustration, because of disappointment, because something happened, then I blame people around and I feel self-pity. Because when you have suffering, it's always a self-pity thing. Poor me, poor me. Why this happened to me? You see? So, um, so the idea is you would have to prevent the pain before it happened. Okay? So the Patanjali Maharishi, who is a master of yoga, who wrote the scripture on yoga and the yoga psychology, yeah, he say in one sentence in the Raja Yoga Sutras, he say, future suffering needs to be avoided. Okay? So that means this will happen. So it's better you avoid it before it happens. So you don't wait until the time that it happened. Yeah. If you know that if you continue to go straight line like this, you go down the cliff. Yeah. You have pain because you have accident. Yeah. So you have to find out the way how you're going to divert your direction or change the course of action slowly. But if you see it ahead of time, then you need to avoid it. Okay. So that's a big part of yoga, and yoga psychology is to um, prevent suffering to happen. Okay. And not just only curing, but preventative method. So if you do yoga every day, meditation every day, then most likely, yeah, a lot of things that might come from your mind will not happen, because when you do yoga, meditation, and your mind become more calm and you become more self-aware, then most likely you will not go to create problem with people. But if you don't, then your mind will drop down, and then when it dropped down to the level of subconscious mind and egoistic mind, expecting mind. Then at that time it will react and it create the suffering, it create the pain. Okay? The mind, that the way how it is, the mind will reproduce what it's experienced. Okay? So I give the example of the pen because I can tell you the number of years ago I make that decision. So I'm free now from pain suffering. Suffering coming from actions of pain. Okay? So you can do this. Whatever that make you suffer, you need to find a way how to prevent it. Okay? So I don't have that suffering now anymore, thanks God. Yeah. But then I had to find out other kind of suffering that might come. Yeah. So I had to find a way. So we have to think about how we suffer, and we have to find a way and to prevent it to happen. Okay. So when pain happen, pain and suffering happen, we have to also think about it in a positive manner. Yeah. Positive manner means you have to think that the pain or the suffering is an opportunity for growth. Okay. So we forget all the time, but we are learning. We are students in life. Yeah. We are learning. So we need to um, continue our learning. You see, as a student, all the time we think that we know. You see, that's a problem. Yeah. Any kind of level that you are in education, you always think that I'm the top. I know it all already. You do not see that you don't see ahead, and you don't know what you don't know. Okay. So therefore, when you learn something, always is a struggle, and so you need to switch around, and you know that life is a journey of self awareness, is a journey of self knowledge. Then you will learn from the um, from the pains that you receive. Yeah. And it is an opportunity. See, so when pain happen or suffering happen, you have to be able to turn around and think about it. Okay. So I tell you another story, the story of this lady that suffering very much because she lost her son. She has a very dear, unique son, and the son died. So she suffered very much, and she refused to accept the fact that the son died. You can imagine, yeah. And then she go from temple to temple, and she asked all the monks there, yeah, please return my son. Return my son. I don't accept it. So she come to one temple, and the monk there said, okay, I will return your son at one condition, that you take this bowl and then you go to the different household in the village, and you would gather the mustard seeds in this home. The mustard seed is kind of a grain, spice that every household has, yeah, in India. Or you can imagine some kind of other grain, or rice, yeah, grain of rice. But you can go and you gather this grain from the different household at one condition, that the household did not have anybody that have died. So then when you fill up the bowl, I will return your son. So the wise monk say that. So that lady, oh, so happy, and she went with her bowl. She went, from household to household in the village, next village, yeah, to look for this grain of mustard seeds or rice. But in every house that she knocked at the door, yeah, and she asked, do you have anybody that have died in this house? Then the answer always is yes. Yeah. The grandfather, the grandmother, the aunt, you know, the all the time there's somebody that have died. Yeah. And then she could not fill up her bowl because, everyone has somebody that died. So then she They come back. Finally, after months and months and begging, in the different household, and she come back and she said to the monk, I'm so sorry, I cannot find, uh, the mustard seeds, but now I don't want my son back anymore because I understand now. What is it she understand? She understand that death is a universal phenomena. Yeah, death is common to everybody. When you are born, then you die. Yeah, so there is no point for her to go against death. Yeah, why the son die? The son die because he has to die, because he is born and his karma finished or whatever. He has to die. Yeah, and you cannot just like make a person rose back from the death. Yeah, because you are attached to them. You have to accept your pain. Yeah, you have emotional pain because you lose something, that somebody that you are attached to, but you have to get out of that mindset of suffering, and you have to embrace the mindset of the the enlightened intellect. Enlightened intellect, like this lady at the end of her journey, she realized, oh, if something has been born, then it will die. That's a nature. That is the universal law. You cannot escape that. Yeah. If something is um, uh, how say aggregation is this plus this plus this plus this, like the body. The body is an aggregation of 5 elements, 5 gross elements. If something is a composition of the different elements, then the story is it will decompose. Something composed and it will decompose. Yeah, but birth, then it will be death. Yeah, beginning, then will be end. So that's the way how it works. Okay, so you have to learn the universal law, and when you open your intellect and you learn the universal law, and then you become detached. So this lady, yeah, she might miss her son, but she become more detached because she understands that the way how it works, right? So she has more of a distance. Okay, she has more of a perspective, a larger view about her own situation. Okay, then she become more detached, and then the suffering will be less, and it's not personal. The moment the suffering is understood, that it's not a personal suffering. Yeah, it's not like you are cursed and then your son died. You know, you're cursed from being now lonely, so that your son died. It's not like this. That's the way how you think. Yeah, when you are emotional, then you think wrongly like this. But you need to uh, open your discriminative intellect. You use your intellect. You need to use a different faculty, yeah, and to think. And the way how you will um, be able to prevent the personal suffering is through um, self-awareness, self-study, and satsanga. Okay, because you don't know, you are like a baby. Yeah, you don't know everything, right? So you have only your ego and your mind and your subconscious mind and your habits. So that's what you have. So therefore, the way how you see things limited. So in order for you to get out of that limited view that bring about suffering, then you need to study. Okay, so um, when you study, then you see, the teachers, the wise teachers, talk a lot about the cause of suffering. Okay, so for example, Lord Buddha, yeah, Buddha talk about the truth of suffering. Okay, so we suffer because of birth, we suffer because of um, old age, we suffer because of disease, we suffer because of death. Okay, so this is the truth of suffering of the Buddhist teaching. Yeah, that means you have to think about this. Why the Buddha make people think about this before, right? So think about this so that you can you can um, you can become wise. Okay, so you don't expect the wrong thing. Okay? If that is supposed to happen, then if you know that for sure, then you are not going to be surprised and shocked. Okay, if um, people are very much afraid of death, okay, so then when disease happen to the body, and they are very shocked, yeah? And when somebody die, they feel terrible. Okay, if you think that something would stay in your hands forever and you're attached to them, then this is the cause of suffering. Yeah, so we all need to think about this. Yeah, I've been thinking about this since I was young. Yeah, a long time. I mean, if you're going to suffer because what you attach to, yeah, will change, and for sure it will change, yeah, then you will be suffering. If you face that situation, then you do what you need to do. You still have to live your life and do what you need to do, but you need to develop an openness of mind. So then you will not be so attached and so sure that this is my way to happiness. Yeah, you cannot do this because um, because you cannot prevent things from changing. Yeah, your own body you cannot prevent it from changing. Yeah, my hair become white. It did not become white overnight. Yeah, every day one white hair at a time. So now all of a sudden white hair. See, life is like this. Yeah. So if you look at yourself, white hair, and you say, oh, now I'm getting old, now I'm cannot this, and then you have self pity. Yeah, you are stupid. Yeah, because the body will get old. For sure, it will get old. Why you have to cry? Yeah, that's the way how it is. So just accept it and try to live your life fully, yeah, happily, and in the most useful manner as possible. But don't expect the impossible. Okay. So yoga practice and yoga knowledge is essential for you to be free from suffering. Okay. So we need to move from tamas to rajas to sattva. Tamas is the denial. Tamas is the darkness, the denial. No, that will not happen to me. Yeah, I will live forever. Everybody around will die. Yeah, suffering should not happen to me. Everyone can suffer, but me, I I don't suffer. You see, so that is called denial attitude. So the denial attitude is a tamasic way of approaching life. Yeah, the rajasic attitude. Yeah. So for example, you have Hitler. Hitler, he doesn't like a certain race of people. Yeah, because you know his way of thinking is different. So what he has to do in a rajasic manner, egoistic manner, he's going to cleanse the race. He want to kill all the people that have a certain trait, yeah, a certain race, and he kill all the people like this, so that his thinking would not be contradicted. You see, so this is called a rajasic way of solving suffering. Okay? For example, if you if you suffer from a relationship, you suffer from a man, a woman, and you decide, I'm not going to talk to any man anymore. I'm not going to talk to any woman anymore. Now, all the women are negative. All the men are terrible. Yeah, you come to conclusion like this, you see, and then you're going to decide that your life would change because now you are not going to talk to a man. You're going to talk to a woman. See, so these are rajasic, egoistic, wrong thinking and wrong action. Okay, to solve your problem. So you need to come with sattva. Sattva means clarity of thinking. Yeah. So it's not man, it's not woman. Yeah. It is said the scripture explain that suffering, Raja Yoga scripture, suffering come from the interaction with the mind and the three gunas. It's very interesting. What that means? That your mind has a certain quality, okay, and the three gunas is is the mind of people all around you, and your own mind that is all the time changing, tamas, rajas, sattva, interacting with people mind that is tamas, rajas, sattva, and constantly changing and interacting, yeah, then it will create suffering. It will create pain. Okay, so you have to bring your mind to sattva, yeah, as high as possible, but through the practices, and then from the sattvic point of view, you can understand better the tamas and the rajas, and you stay away from the tamas, and you calm down the rajas. Okay, so you have to be able to understand other people. So in scripture, I hope you can translate okay, because I speak fast. Okay. In the scripture, they say there is three types of suffering. So the teachers, they already analyze all this, think about all this. Yeah. So it's not personal. Yeah. If you study, then you see that you are the same like everybody. Okay. And the moment you understand that you are the same like everybody, and you have the same suffering like everybody, then at that time you're free from personal suffering. Yeah. So I gave the example of this Christopher Reeves, which is a big actor that played the Superman. Yeah. So he has everything. He's a big actor. He has a beautiful, strong body, and he fell off from his horse, and then he something affect his nervous system, and he become handicapped. Sit in the wheelchair. Lost his job and become a handicap. So, so at one point he wanted to suicide himself because he lose everything. He lose the faculty of moving his legs, and he sit in the wheelchair, and he lose all his friends in Hollywood, and then he's lose his job and everything. So there's no meaning to life. He wants to suicide, but then something, I believe that he has found his soul. So he realized that my value is not depending on I have legs or not having legs. Yeah, having a good look or not having good look, having a good job or not having a good job. So he understood that. He accepted the condition to be handicapped, and then he worked for the Handicap Association, yeah, to help because he suffered from being looked at the handicap. Yeah. So then he worked for the Handicap Association to raise awareness of the world about the handicap situation. See, so he actively actually worked to help the people on the same condition like him, but by doing so selflessly, thinking of other people, he actually helped himself from not identifying so much with his own personal suffering. Yeah. So again, I repeat, the way for you to deal with your personal suffering is to move from the personal to the universal. Yeah, that means you have to understand that your problem is not unique to you. Okay. And there is a reason why uh, it become a problem for a lot of people. Yeah. So the moment that you open your mind up, you get out of the personal, you think of something universal, you think of the reason why things happen. Yeah. You go deeper in your understanding about things, then you'll be able to detach. You'll be able to detach from your personal suffering, and the personal suffering become something that you understand, and then it will not be suffering anymore. Okay. So for example, there's another story, a lady, a story I learned from the internet, a lady that is an Indian woman, and then she was abused, sexually abused when she was young, She was thrown out of her family. She became a homeless person, and then she suffered a lot being a homeless person, being abused when she was homeless with no money, and being despised by people. And so then one day, when she grew up, go through all this suffering, and then she decided that she wanted to gather all the female, all the women that is left out in the street, yeah, that were homeless like her. So she gathered them all together, and she gave them shelter in her own home. So eventually the mission of gathering the woman that is suffering in the street, that being abused, become very popular, very big, and she has like thousands of people, and then building house and like this. And then she become a very big famous lady. I forgot her name. That is the mother of all these girls that she found in the street. See, so she take her suffering, which is a personal suffering. She'd been abused in her own personal family, get rid of being in the street, be abused by other people in the street, and then she make it into a universal story, yeah. And then she worked actively for this woman, and she be free. She become free from her personal suffering, and then she would help the other girls also to be free. Okay, through not looking at yourself, not having self-pity, looking at yourself, but understanding the nature of things, and then um, and remedy to it, yeah, by working hard to help other people in the same condition. Okay, so now I said to you, the scripture say there's three types of affliction. So think about this. That means when you're born, for sure that you will be suffering due to three types of causes. Okay? So in the Bhagavad Gita, the textbook of yoga, it says the number one is called Adhyatmika. Adhyatmika means the afflictions or the suffering goes from your own body. Okay? If your body is thirsty and doesn't have anything to drink, if you're hungry, you have nothing to eat, if you're sick, the body something break down or some virus invading, then you become sick. The body is very complex system, and you need to work very hard in order for you to be healthy. Okay, so one cause of affliction is always the body. Yeah, all of a sudden there is toothache, all of a sudden there is one organ that doesn't work, all of a sudden you get some virus, and then something happen. Then you have throat pain and coughing, and not be able to breathe. All these are suffering. Okay, so that's the first level of suffering, is the body suffering. Everyone has that. Yeah, because everyone has the body. Some people are more strong than others. Okay, in terms of body, the strong genes. Yeah, but everyone has it. Yeah, nobody is Superman. Nobody is beyond this, because the body is there. The body is decomposing. Yeah, and the second cause of affliction is adibautika. That means the affliction caused by being or people around you, by people that you are connected with. Okay, so that is, you cannot live alone. Yeah, you're a social animal. You live with other people. You have to work with other people. You share space with other people. So therefore, there's a plenty of opportunity to be suffering because of the people around you. Okay, so in ashram, Yeah, people come and live together, and they don't necessarily know each other. They are being put in the room together, for example, not necessarily that they can choose the people they live with. Sometimes they have to be put with somebody that is snoring all night, for example, and they cannot sleep. Yeah. Or sometimes you be put with somebody that is very dirty, smelly, and then you cannot, breathe. Yeah. And somebody is all the time making mess in the room, and you are cleaning, they make mess, and you are cleaning and they make mess. Yeah. So the different condition like this. um, so you have to live with other people, and when you live with other people, you will be suffering. So don't be surprised about it. Yeah, don't have romantic idea about this. Yeah, somebody that is the most closest to you, you're also suffering from being near to them. For example, they are hot and then you are cold. Yeah, they are they open the window and you are cold, you close the window, and they open the window and you close the window, and then you'll be quarreling about window. Yeah, and then some people in the ashram, I hear a story. Some people, they want to wake up early to do their pranayama, but when they wake up early, and the other people that want to sleep, because half an hour is very important in the morning. So they want to sleep their half an hour more, and the other one wake up to do their pranayama. So then they have to wake up too. Yeah, so then create the quarrel, the problem. So when you live with people, sometimes some people are very fast. They do things very fast, and then it shock you, you know. And some people are very slow. Yeah, all the time you make an appointment, and then you have to sit there and you wait for them, and they are late, and you wait for them, and then you are suffering because they are late. Yeah, and they suffering because you all the time complain that they are late. So it's like problem that come from other people. Okay, so that is the second level of suffering. Okay, accept it because it's universal, it's not just you. Okay, so if the person is late and then you are fast, the person is fast and you are slow, see, and then you say, you are the one that make me all the time suffer because you all the time late. Yeah, another person say, you are all the time fast, why you can slow down, you see. So then it become a personal problem. Yeah, but if you step back and you look in the bigger picture, that the gunas are different, the personality is different. Yeah, somebody that has if I know astrology, somebody that has Saturn on their body, then they will be slow. You cannot help them. They're just slow. They it's not like they're stupid or something, but they're slow. They're slow in taking decision. They're slow in talking. They're slow in moving. And you want them to be fast, no? Because you have mass on your body. So you all the time fast, fast, fast. You do things fast, you talk fast, you make decision fast, and somebody is slow. See? But if you step back and you understand, okay, that's the way how it works. Yeah, the planets is this person, that person. One is fast, one is slow, and you know, it's nothing to do with them. They cannot be faster, even they want to be faster. They cannot be faster, and another person want to be slower, they cannot be slower. That's their temperament, that's their blood, that's the way how it works. So why you blame them, why you quarrel with them all the time, why you suffer? Okay, so you have to find a way. Maybe you cannot open the window, you cannot close the window, just change the bedroom, or find some kind of fan. You need to find some way how you can divert the situation. You accept the situation, and then you know that it's not personal, that everyone has this problem, and you adapt. Okay, and so that is called the second cause of suffering, called adi bautika. And the third cause is called adi daivika. Adi daivika, yeah, is a suffering that is caused by the forces of heaven. or divine forces. So let's say that you and your husband and your family and your children are all harmonious. Yeah, nobody shocking nobody, and everyone is okay. But then flood comes, fire comes, over superheat comes, yeah, or snow comes, hurricane comes. Yeah, it happened a lot, right? So all these elements, universal causes, like the hurricane come and destroy your roof, destroy your house, and the storm and the snowstorm. You go like this. You go in. I live in many ashram. So in Canada, for example, all the time we talk about the snowstorm because snowstorm. So then big problem because you have to shovel the snow and your car will not start and you have to shovel the snow so you can roll the car out and then snowstorm and then cold come. Yeah? When it's snow, it's warmer. But then when it's cold come, then snow turn into ice. Yeah, and then you cannot even drive. It's very dangerous driving. Then you drive and the car will turn over. Yeah, so and you talk about snowstorm, 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 and then you go to Nassau, Bahamas ashram, and what you talk about? Hurricane, hurricane, hurricane. This is hurricane season. So you need to board the house. You need to take care of the tree will not fall in the house. So hurricane, hurricane, hurricane. They say, oh, I don't like to live in Bahamas, hurricane. So I'm going to go live in California. That had happened to me. Go live in California. And then so what? Fire season. There will be fire. Oh, the fire. Yeah. And then you move. You move, you go to, who knows, to Italy. You say, oh yeah, Italy is perfect. Yeah, no fire, no snowstorm, no hurricane, but there is flood come. Yeah, flood will happen. Yeah, and just okay again. You see, so that is called Adi Daivika, the suffering that come from the heavenly forces, and you cannot help it, right? So and sometimes it's also excessive rain, right? In the lab, sometimes you have rain, and then the next day rain, and the next day after rain, and rain and rain and rain. Yeah, and but in middle of the rain, and you have some beautiful sunny days as well. But the idea is you have to accept. You cannot going on and suffer. Yeah, because of the heavenly forces, because the people surrounding you, and because of their own body and your own mind interacting with other people's mind. Yeah, you have to accept and you have to be adaptable and try to prevent as much as you can. You cannot prevent, but you have to resist. We call resilience. You have to resist the stress. Okay, so if all the time you expect the good weather, and when rain comes, then you'll be very stressful. If you expect that your mother and your father and your husband will be nice to you, and when they don't nice and they are not nice to you, then you are very stressed. You see, whatever your expectation, yeah, will create the stress. So the resilience to stress is to be able to be adaptable. Yeah, you adapt. Yeah, you let go. You forgive. You think positively. Then your mind becomes stronger. Yeah, you face the difficulty before it arrives. Yeah, so you train your mind to be very flexible, not to be attached to anything, and before it arrives, then you'll be able to accept, yeah, or to live with or adapt, yeah, to people or to circumstances. Okay, and not to feeling, aggravated, suffering, revenging, unforgiveness, attacking, accusing, or having self pity, and collapse. Okay, so the idea is you have to train yourself to become calm. Okay, to become calm, you have to go more inward. The more you are outward, looking at things that change all the time, the more that you are exposed to suffering. The more that you withdraw and you look inside, because inside of you is a source of peace and a source of knowledge. The more you withdraw the senses, yeah, withdraw the emotions, yeah, and you'll be able to see, not like you become numb, yeah. Withdraw emotions doesn't mean that you become numb, yeah, but you need to tune the emotion, yeah, that is raw from within you into a higher frequency, which is devotion. Okay, you would be more inward and devotional. The more that you are inward and devotional, the more that you prevent yourself from suffering, okay, from looking outward and attaching yourself and having different emotional disappointment. You have to find inspiration from inside. The more that you be able to do that, yeah, you have to find the inspiration from inside, because you wait for somebody to give you inspiration, it never happens. Okay? You have to find the inspiration from inside of you, and also in nature. Nature has a lot to give to you. Go out in nature, and nature will comfort you. Nature will give you inspiration. Um, so the idea is, in order for you to prevent from suffering, you would have to build up your forbearance, your capacity of adaptation, and your strength of mind. Your strength of mind means you don't collapse. Every time something different happens, then you collapse. Yeah. So you need to be able to be forbearing. I mean, carry on. Yeah, not drop the ball. Carry on. Okay. And learn to forgive. Forgive other people. Okay. And forget the thing that has happened, that give you suffering. You need to forget. You need to forgive. You cannot hold on to it forever, yeah, because your own ego created that point of view and created that suffering. So you have to learn the lesson. You have to look back. You learn the lesson why your sense of ego self, yeah, created that situation of suffering, and then you have to be able to be flexible, in your own way of thinking about yourself. Then the relationship with other people will not create so much problem to you. Okay, so you need to develop, these are skills that you need to develop. High thinking, yeah. When I said you need to remove yourself from that, attachment to your own idea, and you need to see bigger, that means what? That means that you need to develop high thinking. Okay, cultivating a broader, bigger view about yourself and about things. Yeah, don't be too turn inward. If you turn inward in the wrong way, that means you become egotistic. Egotistic means you think this is me and I cannot change, and then I suffer because it happened to me. You see, so this is the egotistic point of view, and that would keep repeating itself. Yeah, because you have to, then at that time you have to try to break through, or put some hole, because you build up a wall. When you build up the wall around yourself, yeah, then at that time you'll be suffering for certain. But if you put some hole in the wall, that means you become more, somehow you try to see the other side as well. You cultivate um, the awareness that is bigger picture. Then at that time you would be free from the personal suffering. So develop the conscious awareness of your mind. Okay, your mind is that which bring the suffering, the habitual mind. Your mind, your lower mind, the habitual mind, the instinctive mind, your samskara. Yeah, you like things a certain way. Why? Why? There's no reason why. It's just a habit. Yeah, it's not your value doesn't increase. Yeah, because you are doing things that you like. Yeah, or your ego becomes strong. Doesn't mean that you have more value. It's just the habit becomes stronger. Yeah, the habit of being yourself. There's one man who wrote the book, breaking the habit of being yourself. Yeah, it's very nice book, nice author. His name is Joe Dispenza. Breaking the habit of being yourself. You see, we are so habituated to be what you think that it is you. Yeah, but you have to make the conscious effort to not being yourself, to be thinking of something differently. Okay, know that you have the capacity of choice all the time. You have the capacity of choice. You are not in the dead end. You want to be wise. Yeah, you need to use your intellect, and you need to cultivate your emotional intelligence. Yeah, emotional intelligence is not the capacity only of taking right decision, but the capacity to feel differently. Yeah, you feel strongly about this. Yeah, you are suffering, but the emotional intelligence means you have the capacity to switch your feeling, yeah, into something that is less suffering, that you will be you feel better about this. Yeah, so um, you call emotional intelligence. Yeah, so people that are not emotional intelligent are the people that are more impulsive. Yeah, impulsive, they cannot resist. You see, so then they do the research. The scientists, they do the research with children. They put a cake in a room, closed door, with the window, glass window that can look from behind, and they put few children in there, and they observe the behavior. They say to the children, if you don't eat the cake, yeah, then you have a gift at the end. Yeah, just don't eat the cake. Yeah, and they observe. Yeah, some child, the moment the door just closed, they jump on the cake. They cannot wait for a moment. Yeah, another one, they will eat their finger. Yeah, and they close their eyes and they hide and they look somewhere else. They fight, they resist that temptation. Yeah, and another one be able to resist more calmly. So they see ABC child, and when they grow up, yeah, the one that is more emotionally intelligent, that means that is able to control the emotions. So that child will become more successful in life. Okay, and that child that is jump right away onto the cake, not having any capacity of resistance, yeah, will become more unsuccessful in life. That means I become very impatient, very reactive, and they don't have the emotional intelligence. Okay, so develop your buddhi, your discriminative intelligence, so that you can get out of the ego. Yeah, and you see the impersonal, you see the bigger picture, then you put yourself in that bigger picture instead of thinking only of yourself. Yeah, and think and use only one faculty. We said that we have four. You have the inner instrument that is made of the manas, means the capacity of thinking, the emotional mind and the senses. And then you have the buddhi, which is the intelligence. You have the ego, yeah, and you have the subconscious mind, yeah, the information from past. Okay, so oftentimes people use only the mind and the senses and the past, mind, senses, and past, yeah, and ego. Yeah, but they don't use the buddhi, the intelligence, okay, that govern all this, that govern your inner instrument. So all this you have to learn to develop the capacity to be more intelligent, and to choose and not to be subject to your own mind that create your personal suffering. Okay, so that's enough. So sorry for the waste of time in the beginning with the translation and the chanting and the sound and everything. So please next time work on that sound so that we can have a smooth. Okay, the suffering that come from computer doesn't work. The suffering that come from the sound that doesn't work. So please prevent it before. Prevent it. Okay, by testing the sound before. Okay, or just say, okay, this sound or this computer does not work, so Swamiji, don't ask me to do this. Find somebody else. Yeah, so like this you have to find a solution so you don't create the suffering to yourself. Okay, Hari Om Tat Sat. If you have any question, you can ask Priya Chaitanya, you can ask Swami Hamsananda, the yoga farm, you can ask me. Okay, so we finish with the Trayambakam and Atma Shakti Chaitanya. You get ready with the altar there to do arati. Oh.